All right, thanks for tuning into a special edition of Leading Forecast, and very serious situation shaping up across the plains tomorrow, and that's what we're going to kind of focus in on here is exactly what the timing of that is and exactly what's going to happen, kind of the synopsis of everything. Going on over this is the current synopsis. We do have a big low pressure center sitting up here, another one coming down across Texas with this front coming here and a warm front sitting up here. A lot of stable or warm, moist air coming up through the plains here. In fact, you can see these isobars that are transporting that moisture coming from deep down from the Gulf, so that's allowing a lot of moisture to surge in, and dew points are going up quite a bit. And thunderstorms already happening out across Oklahoma. In fact, tornado watches have been posted out there, and even some reports of Norman, Oklahoma, and the University of Oklahoma campus getting hit by a tornado earlier on today. So things have already started, but the big day is, of course, going to be tomorrow. Here's the piece of energy that's coming out. This is coming out and down across onto the west coast where they've seen flooding and lightning and even some water spouts out across California today. And we have the trough digging in here. And this is eventually going to kind of translate out into the central plains. And as it does, that's going to get things ramped up tomorrow. Going on over, this is the current Storm Prediction Center outlook. We'll zoom in a little bit on this. And you can see high risk we do have from western Ohio, Iowa into eastern Nebraska, including places like Omaha. And then we have a high risk out across Kansas and Oklahoma, places like Wichita, down towards not Kansas City, but Oklahoma City, Norman, on up towards Enid and Waukeeta. Places like that should be under very, very close surveillance of the weather tomorrow afternoon, even up towards Kansas City, over towards eastern Oklahoma. Those places need to watch out very, very closely for storms tomorrow. In fact, you can see this is the probabilities. 60% risk of severe thunderstorms up here tomorrow, 60% down here, and then 45 in the pink area, and then any of the darker, the black there, that's a hatched. So that means we could see significant severe weather tomorrow afternoon, and a lot of these they're saying in the 60% hatched areas especially could see some large violent tornadoes tomorrow, and that's going to be what we're going to have to watch out for, and that is the main concern, that we are going to experience a tornado outbreak. This is by the time we get a little later on into tonight, early tomorrow morning. Here's your low starting to come off of the Colorado Rockies. We do still have showers and thunderstorms breaking out across the Oklahoma region. Dry line right here starting to extend down. That's going to be our key focus tomorrow, as well as a low pressure center. Going on over, going to kind of take you step by step. This is 6Z, which puts it early in the morning, actually about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning here. You can see some showers and thunderstorms still going on across Oklahoma here as we go on ahead towards 7 o'clock in the morning here. Showers and thunderstorms still going on down towards Lawton, right in the southwest corner of Oklahoma, and then all this coming up through the Midwest. Your low pressure center sitting here, and your dry line starting to form down across this area, and a warm front at this point draping up through here, and then out into here will be your primary focus, as well as up into here. Going over to the 18Z low pressure center now sitting up here, that's going to be our focus for tornadoes up across the Omaha area. Your warm front extending down through here, your dry line now coming down through here, and we're waiting on storms to initiate here, as well as some better storms to initiate up here. This is by the time we hit 0Z, this is the low here, warm front sitting up through this area, dry line sitting down through this area, thunderstorms trying to get going. The thing we are not sure of tomorrow is going to be how many thunderstorms really get going along across the dry line here, or across the dry line here. Some of the sharpness of the dry line isn't looking as incredible, I guess, if you will, or dynamic as some of the past model runs. So we'll have to see how tight of a gradient that dry line is, and that's going to be kind of, I think, the overall decision maker of how many storms get going. And then you can see thunderstorms getting going up here in this high risk area up towards Omaha and western Iowa along the low pressure warm front area. Well, that's another place we'll have to watch as well. This is as we get into 18Z. It's about 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Low pressure center, like I said, sitting here. Here's your dry line, and kind of have a dry line bulge up here across western Oklahoma up towards Woodward. We also have that warm front coming up through here. Thunderstorms getting going out here, and then some thunderstorms starting to develop potentially along the dry line bulge tomorrow afternoon And then here comes, we'll show you this. This is the 500 millibar chart starting early tomorrow morning. We were talking about that piece of energy. Well, there it is. And it's starting to translate. It was up here, now translating south. And then as we get into 0Z, you can see coming out across Colorado, we have what we call diffluent flow, which means the air is starting to spread out and lift. And that's where we're going to have to watch out ahead and kind of the nose of this thing, rounding the base. That's where we'll have to watch out for those thunderstorms. Another thing we're watching out, this is the 850, this is low-level wind shear. This is as we get into tomorrow morning, some low-level winds. You can see some pretty strong winds starting to develop by 7 to 8 o'clock. By the time we hit those 0Z, which is actually about 7 o'clock in the afternoon, very strong winds starting to come up across this area. And the thing I'm concerned about, if you look early in the morning on Sunday, very strong 850 millibar flow coming out across this area, which starts to make me think that we could actually see a very significant risk after dark with these storms. Going on over, this is the CAPE, Convective Available Potential Energy. This measures the buoyancy in the atmosphere and how fast these storms are going to go up. And if these are high numbers, that means there's a lot of instability. This is by about 4 to 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Anything in your generally about the reds and tans are very, very strong instability. And so this whole area down through here, very, very strong instability. But you can see where this dry line is going to be, where it cuts off, and that's going to be your instability. So we're going to have to watch out across this area. And then as we get into about 7 to 8 o'clock, a lot of instability sitting right over I-35, probably on the Kansas-Oklahoma border, more up towards Wichita, Kansas, even over towards Enid and Waukeeta, Oklahoma. And this is the lifted index. This measures pretty much overall instability in the atmosphere. And you can see that very same place that was showing quite a bit of CAPE, now showing a lot of lifted index right over that dot. So almost a bullseye on that place tomorrow. But anywhere in here, there's going to be a lot of lifted index, a lot of instability. And that's going to be what we'll watch. This is the EHI value. This kind of measures the strength of the shear or the rotation in the atmosphere, and actually how much energy is with that. And you can see this is by the time we hit tomorrow about 7 or 8 o'clock, right where that bullseye is. Well, we have an EHI bullseye as well. So that may, if a thunderstorm enters that kind of an atmosphere, really the entire atmosphere that we're going to have tomorrow, we're going to see a lot of rotation with that. And then, like I was talking, overnight threats, as we get into early Sunday morning, you can see the EHI values really ramping up all the way across the plains there, and we could see overnight tornadoes and supercells as well. So that really kind of concerns me as we get into tomorrow afternoon and into early Sunday morning, and I'm sure storms will continue as we go throughout the day Sunday. In fact, there is another risk coming up across the south as well as up towards the Great Lakes along the warm front as we get into Sunday. So we'll just have to wait and see. But if you're down there, you want to take your severe weather precautions. You want to get out your Midland weather radio. You want to get out and tune into your local radio network, your local television stations. Make sure your severe weather preparedness plan is in place tomorrow if you live across the high risk area. And we'll show you where that's at here if we can get back to the original slides. And you can see there's that high risk area tomorrow. And again, I'll say it does include Omaha, in that area, as well as Wichita up towards Salina, Kansas, down towards Oklahoma City and Norman. Those places are going to be hardest hit tomorrow afternoon through probably early night or early morning hours, and very significant tornado outbreak. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center earlier was saying a high impact, life threatening tornado outbreak. They've kind of backed off that a little bit with some of the different things that are coming in on the model runs. We'll have to keep a close eye on this. That's all I have for now. Stay safe if you are in the plains. Thanks for tuning in.